while talking about Israel or Palestinians or Jewish people or Muslims, how many times has someone said to you, oh, these people have been fighting each other for thousands of years? Chances are that people have used this argument to tell you about the implacable nature of the current conflict. But historically speaking, is there any truth to that? Let's explore it a bit further. By all historical accounts, starting from the beginning of Islam until the Second World War, by and large, if you look at the history of coexistence between the Jewish people and Muslims from different parts of the world, they, of course, might have had their tensions, but overall, they pretty much were able to live peacefully. Today, I'll briefly introduce one instance at state level of what the Muslims did for their Jewish siblings. So let us go to 1492, Spain. Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella have just finished the Reconquista. They have finally defeated the last enclave of Muslims in Granada and have now captured Spain as a Christian kingdom. In 1492, Queen Isabella and Ferdinand of Aragon also issue the Alhambra Proclamation, or what is called the Edict of Expulsion. So in this Edict of Expulsion then, Spain officially tells all the Jewish people who had not converted to Christianity to leave Spain within 3 months. This is what is a historical document of expulsion of Jews from Spain. Now, as a result, Jewish people, of course, have to sell everything, right? And sell their belongings and prepare to leave, and they go to different parts of the world. But here is the most fascinating thing about this grand expulsion of Jews. Now remember, Muslims were also being expelled from Spain. Who do you think came to the rescue of the Jewish people of Spain? I'll give you 10 seconds to come up with a name or a thought. If the name doesn't instantly jump into your head, that means you, me, and everyone else needs to study history better. It was this person who sent his navy to rescue the Jewish people from Spain when they were expelled from Spain by the order of the Queen and King of Spain. Who is he? His name is Sultan Bayezid II. He was the ruler of Ottoman Empire. Now, Bayezid didn't just send his navy to rescue the Jews, right? He also settled them. Some of those were settled in the current day Izmir. Some of the Jews who escaped the Inquisition went to the Balkan regions of the Ottoman Empire. But the Sultan not only rescued the Jews, he also made sure that they were welcomed. And he issued different proclamations and edicts. One of them, for example, states that the Jews of Spain should not be refused but rather welcomed with warm feelings, and those who move against his decree, and this is someone quoting the Sultan, and treat immigrants bad or cause any damage shall be punished with a death sentence. And here is the famous quote from Sultan Bayezid. He says, "You venture to call Ferdinand a wise ruler, he who has impoverished his own country and enriched mine." So at the time of great peril for Jewish people, when they have been issued an edict of expulsion from Spain, the Muslim ruler of one of the most powerful empires of Islam, the Ottoman Empire, the Turkish Empire, not only sends his navy to rescue the Jews, but also makes sure that his subjects, the rulers and pashas anywhere in the Ottoman Empire, ensure that the Jewish people who are escaping from Spain will not be mistreated and will be accommodated. And keep in mind that the Jewish people who came from Spain to Ottoman Empire, and also the Muslims, enriched the Ottoman Empire. The first printing press was established in Turkey by the Sephardic Jews. So overall, this brief introduction, I'm not going into the details of what happened afterwards. What did happen afterwards was that a large and diverse population of Sephardic Jews was established in Turkey. They have a long history of living there in peace with their Muslim siblings. What is important here is history itself, right? Chances are that if you had not done your research and if you had not read a little bit about the history of Muslim and Jewish people, you probably were not aware of who Sultan Bayezid II was. Now, with this little bit of knowledge, we're not here to prove that Muslims and Jews had an uncritical and unproblematic relationships over the history, but rather that instead of painting this picture that these two faiths have always been in war with each other, we can point to these instances where not only did they live together in peace, but where one of the most powerful kings of the Muslim world, one of the most powerful sultans of the Muslim world, at the one of the most perilous moment in Jewish history, when they are being evicted from Christian Spain, not only came to their rescue, but also settled them. And the Jewish people from Spain became prosperous in the Ottoman Empire, held high offices, were able to live freely and peacefully in the Ottoman Empire. That is the lesson here, because if we learn these little things, then we can eliminate this narrative of natural irreconcilability between the Jewish people and Arabs and Jewish people and Muslims. We can trace back to a time, maybe not ideal, but a time where there was practical history of tolerance for each other. Here is a book, right? It's written mostly for Jewish children. And it's a book that captures the history of the Jewish diaspora. I'll post the link in the description. If you look at the instances of Jewish diaspora under Islam, the first encounter, major encounter, is when Jerusalem falls to the Muslims during the time of the second Caliph, Umar. Now, there is a Muslim account of it too, which matches the account over here. The Muslim account of it is that the city was self-sufficient and the Muslims were investing it. And the city elders came out and said, you know what, this city is not going to fall, but we have a belief that someone with a certain description will come to conquer this city. We have looked at you. None of you matches that description. So if your king comes to us and asks to enter the city, we will open our gates. So the generals there send a message to Umar. Umar takes one of his servants and a camel and comes to Jerusalem. Now, since they are sharing one camel, they take turns. When they are about to reach the city, it's the servant's turn. And the servant tells him, leader of the faithful, you are the caliph, ride the camel into the city. And he says, no, it's your turn. So when Umar enters Jerusalem, he enters on foot. He walks on his 2 feet out of respect, and then opens the city to Jewish people to come back to Jerusalem. That's the first instance. Similarly, when after the Crusades, in the Third Crusade, Salahuddin captures Jerusalem, he also leaves the Jewish people in the city untouched, also the Christians, and opens the city to Jewish people. Now, what's the purpose of me sharing this little bit of information, not with a lot of detail, of Sultan Bayezid II saving the Spanish Jews, right? And sending his armada to bring them to his empire, considering them a great wealth as people, and the same people then living in the Ottoman Empire and enriching it with their knowledge and with their ideas and with their practices. The purpose here is simple. Right now, as we look at it, there is a war going on in Gaza. Tensions are high. People are angry. And people are also labeling each other and forcing each other into these implacable, immutable positions. This is a moment where we also need to retrieve from history the stories and narratives of Muslims and Jews helping each other and living together in peace. And trust me, there are a lot of such historical, factual stories, and I hope to share them with you whenever I have a chance to record more. So for today, remember, in 1492, when Isabella of Spain issued the Edict of Expulsion to expel all Jews from Spain, from where they went everywhere in the world, the one ruler who sent his navy to rescue the Spanish Jews was Sultan Bayezid II, the ruler of the Muslim Ottoman Empire. Thank you so much. I hope this was useful to you. Let me know what you think. If you have any more information, please feel free to share. I would love to hear your views. And as always, I'm really grateful for your support. My Palestine playlist will come up. If you have time, please check it out. And as always, take care of each other, be kind and generous, and I will now see you next time. Until then, peace and love.